Well, good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome all of you to our welcome to kindergarten evening. To our families who have their first child entering school, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Langley School District. And to those of you who are already part of our district, we're happy to have you join us as the learning journey for your child continues. In Langley, as a school district, we are working to nurture the gifts of all learners on the unceded, ancestral, and traditional territories of the Matsqui, Kwantlen, Katzie, and Semiahmoo First Nations. We count it a privilege to live, work, and learn on these lands. This evening, we have 3 goals: to welcome parents, guardians, caregivers, and students to Langley School District, to provide parents with information that will support them and help them understand the transition process into kindergarten, and lastly, to explain district services such as learning support services, the Aboriginal Department, and supports for English language learners so that all families know what to expect as you enter the school system. Our district mission statement is to inspire all learners to reach their full potential and create a positive legacy for the future. To achieve this, the various departments within the school system work together to support students, and this evening is an example of this, as it's a joint presentation between instructional services and learning support services. I would like to introduce our presenters for this evening. My name is Charlene Redekop, and my role in the district is District Principal of Early Learning and Inclusion. My colleagues Kim Anderson, the Director of Learning Support, Colleen Hanna, Director of Instruction for Indigenous Education, and Beth Kearney, the District Principal of ELL and Modern Languages, will be sharing information from their departments a little later in the presentation. As parents, guardians, or caretakers, you have an important role in the kindergarten transition process. And there's some important pieces that we would like to make sure that you're aware of. The first step is registering your child for kindergarten at your catchment school. Registration is completed online and opened on January 6th. The second thing is, as you move through the process, we want you to make sure that you complete all forms that you receive from the school or from the school district. And thirdly, we'd like to invite you to participate in gifts and gatherings events in your area, as well as programs such as Strong Start at Strong Start Centers, as these programs are intended to support your child's transition into school. Your catchment school will be inviting you and your child to a Welcome to Kindergarten event in May or June. And this is a really important step in building a connection with the staff at the school. We also encourage you to make informal visits to the school between now and September to familiarize your child with the environment at their school. As a school district, we value the First Peoples principles of learning, and you will see these principles reflected in your child's classroom and in their school. As your child enters school, the learning they engage in will support their overall well-being. Learning within their classroom will include many different experiences that will support the development of new relationships. Learning takes patience and time, and adjusting to school is an important step, and we want to provide the patience and the time that's needed for a successful transition for your child. Learning also requires exploring one's identity through their school experience, and your children will develop new skills and discover new strengths and gifts as they develop as learners. We believe that all children are strong, capable, and full of potential, and we look forward to supporting your child on their learning journey as they discover their unique gifts and strengths, as well as their stretches. Our kindergarten programs are grounded in the Ministry of Education's early learning framework. We believe that relationships are at the center, and we look forward to building strong relationships with your child and with your family. Our classrooms provide inclusive learning environments which provide belonging and connection for all learners. Our kindergarten classrooms are child-centered and grounded in the belief that when children are playing, they are learning. As a district, we value inclusive, compassionate classrooms that focus on the whole child. Social development, intellectual development, emotional development, and physical development are all reflected in the kindergarten programs within our district. Kindergarten registration, as I mentioned earlier, opened on January 6th, and that will all be completed online. When you register your child, there are a number of documents that you will be asked to provide. You'll need to have your child's birth certificate, a proof of Canadian citizenship or permanent resident status, proof of residence, any medical or diagnostic reports or other documents that will support educational planning for your child. And when your registration is complete, please watch for a follow-up email that the school will send that will have additional information. At this point, I'm going to ask Kim Anderson, the Director of Learning Support, to share some information regarding learning support services.
Thank you, Charlene. Good evening, everyone. As the Director of Learning Support Services, my goal is to ensure that you have the information needed to ensure your child has the supports and opportunities that will help them be successful in their learning journey. In Learning Support Services, our mission and our goal are to equip, support, and inspire all learners to reach their full potential. We do so through the 4 quadrants of generosity, independence, mastery, and belonging, really believing that all children have gifts that are to be nurtured and that we can do so in our classroom setting with a wide variety of adults, opportunities, and peer connections. As you've seen, the 4 universal needs for growth, belonging, mastery, independence, and generosity, they feed into the belief that we believe all students belong in their home classroom with their same age peers and in their local school. Belonging is about cherishing the presence of each child in our communities and welcoming them wholeheartedly. Mastery means that we believe all children learn and can learn at high levels. They will master skills, they'll develop personal goals, they'll deepen their gifts. Schools use the word competencies, and we know your child and all the children we serve are on a journey to grow in their own social, emotional, physical, and intellectual competencies. We also know that part of education is finding one's gifts and having these nurtured to the place of mastery. We believe your child is on the journey towards independence, and our work is to help nurture their sense of autonomy, agency, decision-making, and more. You will find that even in kindergarten, we will work with your child to set their own goals and collaborate around what success is. But independence is not about doing everything on one's own. We're excited to work with your child to help them become generous with their gifts so that they can support the community and receive gifts of the community in turn. The value of generosity creates an interdependence and strengthens belonging, mastery, and personal independence. As we learn to give of our gifts to others, so we learn to receive from others also. Learning Support Services is one of the educational departments within the Langley School District. And we work very closely and hand in hand with both instructional services, the Indigenous program, and with our student support services team. Learning Support Services isn't a place, it's not one person, it's a team of specialists that support all students. While some students may have additional needs, our team is available to support all learners as needed. So in Learning Support Services, the team that supports all students in Langley schools include inclusion teachers through Universal Design for Learning, programming for students with autism, students who may need support with behaviors, and even at the district secondary level, we have inclusion support. We have supports for students who have deaf and hard of hearing needs. We have teachers of the visually impaired, speech and language pathologists, school psychologists, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, and a host of other team members that come together working collaboratively to problem solve, support, and equip school teams and your child to be successful in their learning journey. These professionals are assigned to work with specific schools to work both directly and indirectly with students. Learning Support Services supports kindergarten entry all the way through to graduation transitions, including career discoveries, nurturing the strengths of our students for the entirety of their school learning journey. So while you might meet us in kindergarten, know that our team is here to support you through the entirety of your child's journey. When your child enters kindergarten, we want you to know that there is a whole team that supports their learning and their growth. Within the classroom, you may have a classroom teacher. Your child may also receive instruction from physical education teachers, music specialists, or teacher librarians. You'll have an administrator, and sometimes more than one, who supports that learning journey and supports the school team. And in some cases, additional supports are provided through a resource teacher, a BCBA, a teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing, a teacher of students for the visually impaired, a special education assistant, a youth care worker, an Aboriginal support worker, a counselor clinician, an occupational therapist or physiotherapist, or a speech and language pathologist. This entire team supports not only your child, but the school community and ensures all students receive what they need at the time they need it. At this time, I'm going to invite Director of Indigenous Education, Colleen Hanna, to join the call. She's not able to be here in person tonight, but she's willing to share with us via the digital way. And so she's going to come on board and share a little bit about our Indigenous education.
Good evening and welcome everyone to this wonderful evening of kindergarten. This is very amazing. I always enjoyed this, and it's been 20 years since I was at my own welcome to kindergarten event for my last child in the education system. So I just want to take a little bit of time just to explain what the Indigenous services are or Aboriginal programs are, and really just building on the theme that Kim was talking about as well, is that we're all working towards the same goal for children, and that's to be successful in their school experiences and in their educational journey while they're with us from K through right through to grade 12 and sometimes beyond. Really, what the Indigenous programs are looking to do as well are nurturing each student's shwali, which is your spirit and the gifts that everyone carries. And that our program is available to all students who self-identify as having Indigenous ancestry. And that our programs and services are created to really enhance each of the self-identified Indigenous students' positive, personal, and their cultural identity. So really, I want to say self-actualization, but really what that is we're just trying to nurture everyone's identity as who they are as being Indigenous, which is really great. We have services around cultural experiences, but we also too want to make sure that a student is really having the opportunities to work with all of those people that Kim had listed, as well as together in the school with other Indigenous students, and really trying to provide that emotional, physical, spiritual, and intellectual supports for students, because we know how important that is throughout their journey. And being that adult for some students is really important, and also seeing a friendly face and having someone they can identify with as well. Really advocating for the programming. So really walking alongside you as a parent, helping being that liaison between the home and the school, as well as being a colleague to all the other adults that are involved in the school, and ensuring that there's an understanding between home and school, and bringing anything to light that might be needed at the school to make sure that every child is being successful, and particularly our Indigenous students. And really coming from that, focusing on the connectedness between all of our partners, and particularly helping our families. Just really, that's what it is creating those connections for our families and our students. And one of the things we do is we actually have a number of events. So throughout the year, we have evening and family events. Sorry, I have parents calling me right now. We have evening and family events throughout the year that you get a chance to meet other families of Indigenous ancestry and really have an opportunity to have a meal and really get a sense of community within the Langley School District. And so it's a wonderful program to be part of and to have your child part of. Our schools are also part of the program where we ensure that we have Indigenous ways of knowing and being embedded and threaded throughout the schools. So there's lots of opportunities during, I guess we'd have some field trips. There may be some events throughout the school year that the school participates in, as well as we have community members come into the school. So we have knowledge keepers and elders come into the school and share their gifts with the students as well. So that's for our whole school community. And sometimes we do have special events within the school where students get an opportunity to have those knowledge keepers right in their classroom, not just in an assembly, but also in their classroom, and really further their learning around culture and really what it is to be part of the land-based nations here in Langley schools. So I just want to thank everyone for being here this evening, and it's so exciting to be part of this pre-journey for many of you parents who this is your very first welcome to kindergarten, and knowing that you're transitioning into kindergarten, and really exciting for those of you who this isn't your first time either. So I really appreciate having some time, and thank you all.
Thank you, Colleen. What we wanted to share with you, in addition to the information that's been shared, is around our role in supporting individual students and their specific needs. So we will work with school teams to support successful transitions. We ensure that we have the information for educational planning, and make sure that we are really thinking about how to successfully transition students. So we will review child-specific information and ensure that school teams have what they need. We will be working to determine eligibility and identification for the Ministry of Education. So some students with diverse needs may receive a Ministry of Education designation. But we also want you to know that we support all students, designated and undesignated, and make sure that their needs are met with the services we provide to the school district. We will assist the school team in transition planning. And in some cases, we will facilitate an additional transition meeting at the school before the end of June. So we are working with individual families, with school teams, and with you as parents to ensure that your children are successful in their transitions. We do know that the transition process can be tricky for some families, and so we want you to be able to reach out to school teams and reach out to your local school community, as well as us here at the board office if you have questions. In September, we entertain what we call a gradual entry, and this allows your students and your children to have a really thoughtful, careful transition into the school learning journey. Kindergarten is a whole new journey, and having a very thoughtful plan, ensuring students are building skills in a very thoughtful way, and being able to meet new peers and new adults in a way that allows for success is really critical to the work we do. So you will be receiving information about gradual entry. We also will be sending information through the school that you will receive around speech and language information. If your child is needing extra support around speech and language, you will receive information about how to ensure your child has been done some screening for hearing and also for vision. So please watch out for that information around hearing and vision screening and speech and language support. We also understand that supports look different for many people. And when your children come into kindergarten, they sometimes have come from preschool or home teams or support that looks a little bit different than the school team does. We recognize that in preschool, they would be working with a preschool teacher and may have support. Sometimes this looks like one-to-one support in the preschool setting. They may receive OT and PT support or speech and language. Some of these services might not transfer in the same way to the kindergarten classroom, and that's because at the school level, we have an entire team that supports your child. And as I mentioned earlier, with all of the list of adults and the list of special services that we provide, that whole team is working to ensure success at the school level. And it's not simply one or two adults in the school setting that may happen in preschool, but that there's a team at the school level supporting. We also want you to know that there's both a school-based team and a district-based team here to plan for student success. That we are going to work together to support you and make sure that your children have what they need to ensure success in kindergarten, and ask that you reach out if you have any questions. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to the district principal of ELL and Modern Languages. This is Beth Kearney.
Thank you so much, Kim. For some of you, we aren't just welcoming your children to kindergarten, we are also welcoming you to Canada. And so part of my privilege is to extend that welcome and tell you a little bit about the supports we have through our settlement workers in schools. If you are a new permanent resident or refugee claimant, we invite you to come to the school board office to complete your kindergarten registration. Not only will our support workers help you work through the paperwork and the registration process, but we're excited to tell you about the programs that we have and the ways in which we are delighted to support newcomers, not only their children, but the whole family in learning the Canadian school system. We also like to support our permanent residents and refugee claimants who have children already in our schools. If you already have children registered in the schools, you do not need to come to the school board office to register your kindergarten student. However, a Swiss worker is happy to help you in a variety of ways to complete that registration and to get started in the transition process for the next member of your family heading to school. To support permanent residents and refugee claimants with children already in our school, you can see on the screen the kindergarten orientation and registration supports. I recognize that many of our registration support dates for some of our languages have already passed. Don't worry about that because our Swiss workers are always happy to make a one-on-one appointment with you, to work with you over the phone, through a video call, or to meet up with you at one of our 4 locations. If you can't make the sessions with our settlement workers, please contact a Swiss worker or just email us directly at swiss@sd35.bc.ca. We will make sure that you are connected with someone and that we are able to welcome you and your child into Canadian schools. I also have a privilege to support English language learners in our schools. In British Columbia, all of our English language learners receive up to 5 funded years of English language learning support. This support does not begin in kindergarten. We actually choose to leave our kindergarten students enjoying the rich environment provided by their kindergarten teachers. The kindergarten class is already richly focused on oral language. All kindergarten students are at the beginning stages of reading and writing. We want your child to access all of those initial skills alongside their classmates. We like to preserve the funded years for grades with greater academic language and language demands. For most of our students, that means that ELL begins in grade 1. That said, our ELL teachers support kindergarten teachers through professional learning and consultation, even visits to the classroom to do some side-by-side teaching with your student. Again, welcome to kindergarten. Welcome to Canada. We want to remind you that your primary contact is the classroom teacher. Here's Charlene to tell you more.
Thank you, Beth. So after school has started, your child's teacher will be your primary contact with the school. If you have questions or concerns about your child or their classroom, you should bring those concerns directly to the classroom teacher. Urgent questions that come up during the day can be brought to the admin assistant in the office, as your child's teacher will be engaged in teaching during the school day. The principal is available to address more serious matters or broader questions about school activities. The first few weeks of kindergarten will involve a gradual entry into school, and this schedule will be communicated to you from the school. Gradual entry allows children to have time to adjust to the many new routines, the new adults, the new friends within their kindergarten classroom. It can be a very long day for children as they adjust to the many new things, so you can expect that they will be tired at the end of the day. They will have a snack time at school, and it is helpful if they bring healthy foods that they like and enjoy for their snacks. And if they're packed in containers that they can open independently, it helps to develop those independent skills. They will have outside times at recess and lunch on most days, as well as opportunity to use the school's library, the gym, and enjoy music with their classmates. There are many new things to learn, and the gradual entry process allows children to approach this in a bite-sized way that is manageable for the little ones. I'll go back one slide, sorry. We do have a number, as we wrap up, we would like to remind you of your role as parents. Please ensure that you've completed the online registration process. Make sure that you complete all the forms that you receive from the school or from the school district. We'd also like to invite you to participate in gifts and gatherings events in your area, as well as programs such as Strong Start and other Ready, Set, Learn programs that are happening in your Strong Start centers, as these programs are intended to support your child's transition into school. Your catchment school will be inviting you and your child to a Welcome to Kindergarten event in May or in June, and this is a very important step in building a connection with the staff at your local school, and we encourage you to attend that Welcome to Kindergarten event. We also encourage you to make informal visits to the school as September approaches to familiarize your child with the environment, exploring the playground, and helping your child feel comfortable in this space. On behalf of Langley School District, I would like to thank you for joining us this evening. We look forward to supporting you and working alongside your child and your family in Langley throughout their school journey, where we believe as a district that all of our kids are all of our kids, and we have a shared responsibility for their success. If you do have any questions that we haven't answered this evening, please feel free to reach out to us through email. Please direct any questions regarding learning support to Kim Anderson, questions regarding the Aboriginal Department to Colleen Hanna, and any questions regarding ELL or Swiss support to Beth Kearney. And if you have any general questions about kindergarten transitions or general kindergarten questions, I'd be happy to help you with that. Thank you again for joining us this evening, and we truly look forward to supporting your child as they enter kindergarten in September, and we'll look forward to meeting you all through this Welcome to Kindergarten and gradual entry process. Thank you so much for your time this evening.